Hey guys, it's Gina. So, how's your week been? Did you chase your sunset? Did you do something for you that you really enjoyed doing that brought you some peace and happiness and relaxation, joy, pure joy, even if it was for 15 minutes? I just really hope that you're able to find some time for you and learn to chase your sunset. This is probably going to be a little hodgepodge of a lot of things because there's so much going on. So we have my husband's children here from his previous marriage, and they're teenagers, and so that's always fun, just in itself. But it does make things a little bit more chaotic around here because instead of 4 people, we now have 6 people in the house. So we're trying to balance out, people coming and going through the space of the house and everything. And where it works, I mean, it does. It's just sometimes it gets a little chaotic. And a good example was tonight at dinner. When my husband does not follow my whole food, plant-based, no oil, no salt, no sugar diet. And so his kids do not either. And which is fine. I mean, they still eat vegetables, and sometimes they love some of the dishes that I make too. And it's nice because they can be exposed to some vegetables that they might not try, because kale is not always just like everyday food for some people. And honestly, if you're not judging here, but typical people don't know how to make kale. It's like, oh. So they have been able to try different fruits and vegetables that they might not have experienced because of me. And it gives them an opportunity to taste it in a way that is not your typical way of eating it, which is great. So what my husband and I try to do, now this doesn't always work out, but we try to do is we pick a meal that will work. And then he'll make the traditional standard meal, and I will make the whole food, plant-based, no oil, no salt, no sugar version of said meal. So tonight was, he was making some fajitas. And, now he made a, piece of beef and a chicken breast and, some stuff like that. And they had cheese and sour cream and tortillas and all that fun stuff. And so what my mom and I did instead is we made like taco salads, which, okay, they're not fajitas. I get it. But it's still kind of in the realm of it. So like if you were to go out to a restaurant, not everyone orders the exact same meal anyway, right? But you're still having the genre. And that's what we try to accomplish. So we made some TVP, which is textured vegetable protein, which all that is it's defatted soy flour that makes a crumble. It's basically you have to like add water to it to rehydrate it, and then you just add seasonings to it. So we made some taco meat out of that, and then we opened up a can of pinto beans and rinsed them, although I did buy the ones with no salt, but still we rinsed them. And then we just added some lettuce. I made some cashew cheese from the Mac and Cash recipe in the Engine 2 book. That cheese sauce in there, we always keep a jar of that stuff on hand. Now, I've actually only made the mac and cheese is basically what it is, but it's a Mac and Cash because it's a cashew cheese. And that cheese sauce I make all the time. We always have a jar available because we add it to everything. It's so amazing. And so I just emptied a jar like the other day, so we just made another jar tonight. And so basically, my husband made some pico, which is just some, ironically, pico would be considered a whole food plant-based, meal, because we don't add salt to ours anyway, but tomatoes and onions and jalapenos and cilantro, a little lime juice, all stirred up together. And pico is a big thing at our house. We love eating it. And so between that, we just have like some lettuce and some, beans and some of that taco meat. And I drizzled it with some cheese, had some pico. I made some guacamole, again, whole food plant-based, no oil, no salt, no sugar. And we had a wonderful little Mexican feast for dinner. He and his other two children had the fajitas, and then my mom and I, and Shelby just kind of picks and chooses some things because she's, a toddler, and her favorite thing is still toast and peanut butter. But anyway, she had some avocado slices because she doesn't like the guacamole. It's a little too spicy. So I just sliced up some pieces of avocado for her. She loves that. And then she had some black olives, and then she had her toast with some peanut butter, and I can't remember. She picked and chose. She had some tomato pieces, and she, just little things. So she filled up with a little smorgasbord because for some reason she does not like her food combined, which I was like that. I remember being a teenager, and my mom actually bought those cafeteria style trays, and they had like the little compartments, and that's how I would put my food and eat. And my dad was like that, so I can't bite naturally. But anyway, my daughter's like that as well. She is fine. She'll eat the avocado and the tomato and olives, but don't put it together because then she will not eat it. So she'll eat a salad if there's lettuce and then tomato and cucumbers. And then even if you put a little dressing on the side where she can dip each piece in individually, she may or may not, but she will not eat a salad if it is combined in the same bowl. I don't know if she'll outgrow that or what. I did to a point, but there are still some things that I'm like, don't let that food touch. So I don't know. Maybe. But so it was kind of interesting because I was thinking about, when a lot of families are blended anymore, and not everyone in the house is going to want to follow the same diet. And even if my husband did follow the no oil, no salt, no sugar, whole food, plant-based diet, we wouldn't want to make his kids that go between two homes do that, because that's not fair to them. So we don't. And we try to make sure that they just get a healthy meal and kind of go from there. But I just wanted to, talk about how, you get all these things going on. Like school's about to start around here in Texas. Some schools are starting this week. Some schools are starting next week. So, everyone's like finishing up with all that stuff. And it's the end of summer, and fall's coming up, and I'm already thinking, what am I making for Thanksgiving? So I'm already kind of getting into that whole fall mentality, and I'm excited about it, even though I love summer. And I'm getting off track, but anyway, it's been a long day. But you can take a meal, and so like if you're doing a meatloaf, there are recipes out there that you can take whole foods and make a vegetable-based meatloaf. It might be with walnuts. It might be with beans. I think there's one that we use that actually uses pinto beans and something. So you can make like a loaf out of pretty much anything. And there's all these recipes. A lot of the books that I've recommended in the past have a recipe in there for some sort of meatloaf. And so if you're part of a blended family and you're wanting to eat a whole food, plant-based, no oil, no salt, no sugar diet, but you don't want it to be like you're over here eating your little whatever and they're over here eating theirs and everyone's so polarized. It doesn't have to be polarized. Like I said, we try to match it up, and there's a whole bunch of things that we can do that it's not a big deal. Like my husband the other night made stir fry. And of course, I don't know what all he put in it, but he does use oil in his stir fry. And it had vegetables in it. And then I think he had some chicken or something. And they had the different dipping sauces for the stir fry, like the hot mustard and the soy sauce and things like that. And we had a Japanese dish that used rice noodles and had green peas and I don't even remember, carrots, and I think it had some broccoli in it, and it had like a Japanese style sauce that we made homemade. And so even though we weren't eating stir fry, which we could have made a stir fry without the oil, very easily. It's just we had already kind of planned on doing that. And so he kind of worked into our plan and did something that matched us in a way. So we kind of had like an Oriental theme going. So it's real easy to do this. And I want to encourage you, if you are wanting to eat healthier, you don't have to feel isolated at the dinner table. You don't have to feel polarized. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It doesn't have to be drama filled. You know, like the guacamole and the pico tonight, completely whole food, plant-based, no oil, no salt, no sugar. And everybody at the table, except for my 3-year-old, was eating that. I mean, and that's just because she doesn't like anything spicy or combined. So either way. But she ate portions of it. She had some tomatoes and she had some avocados and she had some of that. But she just has it her way instead of mixed up in the bowl. But, you know, and then we were eating, you know, they were eating fajitas. And we were eating, you know, I made a lettuce wrapped taco. I just took a piece of the lettuce and I put everything in it and I just wrapped it up and rolled it up and I ate a lettuce taco. That was really good. So you could either make it into a salad where you're eating with the fork, or you can make a lettuce wrapped taco. You know, there's also Ezekiel brand makes a corn tortilla that's literally just corn, lime, and water, I think. I don't know if it has salt in it or not, but they're in the freezer section at most grocery stores. And keep them in the freezer, take out what you want, defrost them out. And so they're, you know, pretty tasty as well. So you can make a taco that way without it being, having any of the stuff that you're trying to avoid. And whereas I do try to avoid salt, there are some items that I do have a little bit of salt intake. I've mentioned that before. My main thing is I don't eat the oil and I avoid the sugar. And I really try to avoid the salt, but I do get a little bit of salt here and there, so I don't worry about that as much. It's the lesser of the 3 evils, in my opinion, just so you know. And because I could be completely wrong about that. I don't know. You need to do your own research on that. But based on everything that I've heard and read and studied, the oil is harder on your body. The sugar is harder on your body, and a little bit of salt here and there isn't as hard. But it also depends on where you are in your health journey, because if you are on, you know, 2 seconds away from cardiac arrest, I don't know if you probably would want to avoid salt, but you need to be talking to your doctor and seeing what needs to be done. So anyway, just know that you can take foods and match it up with your families, and you don't have to feel polarized. You don't have to feel isolated, and it can still be fun. I mean, yeah, we usually have an extra burner going because we're making something a little bit different on our side, but with a little bit of planning as well, it's just as easy to do that earlier in the day and then just kind of reheat it. And so that way you can kind of stagger in the kitchen if necessary. Tonight we didn't do that well. We didn't plan well. So we were all over each other in the kitchen. But that's okay, because that's family time together too. So I might not have been cooking what he was cooking, or he was cooking what I was cooking, but we were able to work together still, and you know, it was family time. And so that's a really nice way to do it. So just know you've got options. You don't have to worry about what everyone else is eating, and they may want some of what you're eating also. So anyway, hope you have a great week. I just, you know, go chase your sunset, get happy, find your health, find your vibrancy. You know, I want the best for you, because you can have the best. And, you know, it's just, sometimes we think, oh, this isn't doable in our world, but it is, and you can do it, and you can find a way to compromise and share and be in the middle of all of it and still follow your convictions of what you want to do with your health. So anyway, have a great week. It's so good to see you again. If you like the video, please share, please like, and if you haven't, please consider subscribing. I would love to talk to you every week. And, you know, leave me a comment. Tell me how you are chasing your sunsets. How are you following your health goals? I would love to hear what you're doing. So it's been a busy week. I know I'm tired. And so we're going to play a couple of board games tonight. Then I'm going to bed, working on homework, you know, and then starting all over. So I just, that's how I'm chasing my sunset today. So I hope you have a great time chasing your sunset as well. And I will see you next week. Bye.